Shalom, Israel. It's your brother Marcus G back with yet another truth for thought. First and foremost, I must give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. I must give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Secondly, I know that many of you have. If you have not and are in a situation where the Most High has you, where you can be charitable, I'm asking of your charity for our Queen Valerie. There's a link in the description to her GoFundMe. I know many of you have. There is a goal that we're trying to hit for Queen Valerie to make sure to basically assure that the things that she has need of are met. So with that, I'm asking yet again to the nation to please, if you can be charitable, not today as it is the Sabbath, but after sundown today or any day prior to sundown next Friday here in Babylon. I'm saying that for a reason. Here in Babylon, next Friday sundown. If you can be charitable, I am asking that you please do for our beloved Queen Valerie. Next, if you know of the whereabouts or have any information leading to the whereabouts of Princess Joniah, there's also contact information where you can relay such information. Also, Princess Joniah, if this truth or thought should come before you, I implore you to please contact your family. I've been reaching out to the nation now, I know at least 3 weeks to a month now, with this same message as we are praying for the safe home, for the safety of Princess Joniah towards her return home, as we are very prayerful that she is to return home. Now, I also want to ask that you all continue to pray for my beloved brothers, King Mike Malice, King Gideon, King Yada, Queen Carly, Queen Valerie, Queen Rita, Queen Tanya, and all of the righteous Israelites that you all may know, and up to and including myself. We need to be there for one another, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's more than two, so I use the word both. I don't know, but we are supposed to be there for each other in those three ways when possible. So I'm asking for prayers for all of righteous Israel, as well as I continue to keep all of righteous Israel in my prayer. So now let's get into the title. Now, let me cut my phone off first so it won't be interrupting me throughout this. Now, the title, the Sabbath. It just so happens to be the Sabbath, huh? How ironic, how coincidental. Although, if you all know me and follow me, there's no irony, there's no coincidence. Why am I talking about the Sabbath? First, there are people that are new in the truth that may not truly understand it. Two, there is a bit of controversy into the Sabbath. We're going to address some of those. One being in regards to the lunar Sabbath, quote unquote lunar Sabbath. I'm going to address that very briefly. I'm going to do another truth or thought where I'm going to go in depth about the quote unquote lunar Sabbath, but I'm going to address it just briefly here. Also, there's the misconception that, well, I stay here and this is the seventh day, and they stay here and this is the seventh day. we're going to address that. That is going to be addressed. All scripturally. All scripturally. So we're going to go and get right into it. So let me share my screen. If you would, please turn with me in your 1611 King James Version of the Bible with the Apocrypha. And we're going to start in Job. Job 8 and 8. Because there's some wise words here in Job 8 and 8 that I want to address. And this can be in regards to pretty much anything. And I'm going to go ahead and read it, then I'll explain it. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. Israel, what this is saying is, if you ever question anything, you can always go back to our righteous forefathers to see or to answer the question that you're looking for. The only place that you can find that is going to be the Bible. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Sabbath, and we're going to look at the Sabbath and how it was kept of old by our forefathers. Okay. From there, I want to go to 2 Corinthians. We're going to go to the New Testament. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. And it reads, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupt from the simplicity that is Yahushua. So a lot of folks might read and say, what's that supposed to mean? Well, what that means is this is so simple. Unless by some means you are corrupted, let's say by the world. Let's say by bad doctrine, which will be in the world. But unless any of those things happen, and even if those things happen, still understand that this is so simple. This is extremely simple. So now I want to go from there and go back to the Old Testament, the last book of the Old Testament. In fact, we're going to go to Malachi. We're going to go to chapter 3, verse 6. Now, I've brought this out several times before, but I'm going to bring it out again now, because it only makes sense to. Now, this is the Most High speaking, and it says, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. The Most High is proclaiming, declaring right here in Malachi 3 and 6, he does not change. So everything we go through today, although we're going through it, looking through a scope back at our forefathers, that has not changed. None of what I'm going to go over today was to ever change in regards to Israel, as the Most High doesn't change. Never has changed, never will change. All right. So I'm going to touch up a little bit on the lunar Sabbath. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the creation. All right. We're going to go to Genesis 1 and 5. Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to go to verse 5. Now here, you're going to see that day and night already exists. And there's a couple of things that we're going to get out of this one verse. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So in the first day, there was day and there was night. That's it. Understand that. That is it. You also see that this was the first day, the first of 7 days. Remember that number 7, that is the number of completion. And that number is extremely important as we are addressing the Sabbath. So, this is the first day of 7 days. All right. You see that the day is counted from the evening until, it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So when you hear people like myself, people like King Yada, people like King Yagideon, people like King Mike Malice, Queen Rita, Queen Tanya, when we say the Sabbath starts at sundown, this is why. Because the evening starts a day, biblically. Per the scripture. And it doesn't matter where you read or which of the 7 days you read about, you're going to see. And the evening and the morning was that day. In fact, we're finna get another one. Now you see that only day and night exist, right? So let's go from here. We're going to drop down to verse 14. And it reads, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Going back to that lunar Sabbath, if the moon, the sun, and the stars were all created on the 4th day. Now, there are a lot of people that say, well, what it is the day of the full moon or the new moon, then it's 6 days after, which will be the 10th day per Genesis 1 and 19. Not the 7th day. But again, I'm going to get more in depth with that in another Truth for Thought. From there, I'm going to go to over 1 chapter, to Genesis 2, verses 1 and 2. So we're going to see on what day was the Sabbath, even for the Most High. We're getting that for a reason. So Genesis 2, verse 1 and 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, not the 10th day, not the 11th day, on the 7th day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So we see that the Most High, on the first day, there was just light and darkness, night and day. On the 4th day, he created the sun, the moons, and the stars to divide night from day, and to rule over night and day, and as for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years. Then on the seventh day, again, not the 10th day, which will be 6 days after the new moon, not the 11th day, which will be 7 days after the new moon, but on the seventh day, he rests, right? He rested from all his work, which the Most High created and made. So now I want to go from there so you'll understand who you as a righteous Israelite, if you're doing the law, statutes, and commandments, if you're following them, there's a commandment to keep the Sabbath, and we're going to get into that a little later. But I want to see, because this looks like a blueprint to me. But let's just make sure. If the blueprint is to keep the seventh day, I'll even go as far as to say the seventh day of the week. I'm saying that for a reason. I'm going to prove that as well. The seventh day of the week, the Most High rested. Because there are a lot of people that observe the lunar Sabbath. They say the people to the Israelites that keep the weekly Sabbath. And that makes sense. I understand why they say that word weekly. I'm going to show you why. Okay. Now, let's go from that. Now, we're looking at what should Israelites do in regards to the Sabbath. Well, you should follow that very simple blueprint that we just went through, and I'm going to prove it. Let's go to Hebrews 4. We're going back to the New Testament, and we're going to go to Hebrews chapter 4, and we're getting verses 9 through 11. And he reads, "There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God." So there is a day of rest for the people of Israel. These are his people. "For he that is entered into his rest, he also have ceased from his own words, from his own works, as God did from his." Again, following that blueprint. To rest on a certain day, just as the Most High did. Verse 11. "Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest." What rest? The Sabbath day rest. The day that he rested, which was the seventh day of the week. I'll even again go as far as to say of the week. He also have ceased from his own, lest any man fall after the same example or unbelief. So unless you don't believe, basically not righteous, or you just don't want to follow the blueprint. Point blank, that's right there in the Bible. So now let's go from there, and we're going to look at the law, the actual commandment. So we go on to Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to get verses 1 through 3. 1 through 3. "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts." Listen to this. 6 days, regardless of what the name of those days are where you reside. 6 days, and I'm saying that for a reason, Israel. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day, nothing about the moon. The seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord. So here you see on the seventh day, it is known as the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. That is a commandment, right? Let's go from there, and we're going to start looking through a pair. We're going to use the Bible, and we're going to look back at our forefathers, just like Job 8 and 8, because there's a question about this amongst Israel. So we're going to look back on our forefathers, just like I said back in Job 8 and 8. I'm going to look back towards the Egyptian captivity. How long, Israel, were our forefathers in captivity under Egypt? And if you don't know, that's fine, but I'm asking. And if you know, type it in the chat. How long was Israel in captivity to Egypt? And now we finna get it. So we're going to go to Genesis 15 and 13. Now, this is the Most High speaking straight to Abraham. And back when he was saying this to him, it was considered a prophecy, something to happen. We're going to get a precept to this after the fulfillment of said prophecy that we're going to read right here in Genesis 15 and 13. So back when it was a prophecy, this is what the Most High said. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. 400 years. If you answered in the chat, if you said 400 years, you got it. That is exactly what the Bible says. So now let's get a precept just to make sure. So we're going to go to the New Testament. We're going to go to Acts, and we're going to go to chapter 7. We're going to get verses 2 through 6. All right. And I'm getting this because I want to have the correct context to make sure this is talking about the same thing and the same people. So we read in Genesis 15 and 13 how the seed of Abraham will go into a captivity within a strange land for 400 years. Acts chapter 7, verse 2. And he said, men, brethren, fellow Israelites, and fathers, hearken, the God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham, further proven. It's to Israel. And it's talking about an account with Abraham. Okay? When the Most High presented himself or conversed, like we saw in Genesis 15 and 13, with Abraham, when he was in Mesopotamia before he dwelt in Charan, and said unto him, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall shew thee. Then came he out of the land of Chaldeans and dwelt in Charan. And from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein ye now dwell. And he gave him none inheritance in it. No, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for possession and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. So this is reflecting back to Abraham even before he had no child, and reflecting back on the promise made to him and his seed. You're reading it right here, right? And God spake on this wise. that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil for 400 years. So there you go, Israel. Israel of old was in Egypt for 400 years. You can read it in the Old Testament. You can read it in the New Testament. All right. Now, why am I bringing it up? Because in those 400 years, was Israel keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, up to and including keeping the Sabbath? And it's easy to do, to find out. We're going to read about it. So let's go from here. Let's go to Leviticus 18. Leviticus 18. And we're going to get verses 1 through 4. Now, this is after Exodus, after the exit, right? But the Most High is speaking to Moses to remind Israel of something. All right, let's see what he's reminding them of, and we're going to see why he's reminding them of these things. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. So he's reminding them, stop doing what those heathens were doing. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Now remember all of this, because Israel was still walking in the ordinances of Egypt. They were still walking in the ways of their captors. One of the ways was not keeping the Sabbath. Let's keep going. Verse 4. Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. So he's reminding them, you are my people, I am your God. You are to do my commandments, my ordinances, not what you picked up in Egypt, nor what you might see when you get to Canaan. All right. So he was reminding them of that. Why would he have to remind them of that? One, they weren't doing those things. And two, he was letting them know even where you're finna go. Don't do those things that you're going to see of these heathens. Now, I want to prove that. I want to prove that they weren't doing those things back when they were in captivity in Egypt. So now we're going to go back to Exodus. And we're going to go to Exodus 14 and 12. And we're going to look at something, a dialect that was between the Israelites and Moses. So we're going to go to Exodus 14 and 12. And this is what it reads. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt? So he's saying this after they came out of Egypt, but they're letting Moses know. We said this to you even when we were in Egypt. Let me read it again. Is not this the word that we, I mean, all these are multiple Israelites saying this to Moses. Is it not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt? So this was when they was in Egypt, and now they're out of Egypt. So they said this even back in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. They were not keeping any of the law, statutes, and commandments because they were serving the Egyptians and keeping their ordinances, just like we just read. Just like we just read in Leviticus 18. All right. So they were concerned about dying in the wilderness. So now we're going to see about them in the wilderness, where they were there for 40 days. And we're going to see about the Sabbath, even in the wilderness for Israel. All right. So what I want to do is go to Exodus 16. So we're going to go 2 chapters over. And we're going to start at verse 1. And we're going to go all the way down to verse 31. All right. So this is Moses leading Israel into the wilderness out of Egypt. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregations of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt, just like I just said. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt. Again, this is how off Israel was. They still reflecting back on Egypt. Would to God we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. What they're basically saying is, even if the Egyptians would have killed us, we could eat. We wouldn't in the danger of dying from starvation, as now you're putting us in that danger, leading us into the wilderness. But let's keep going. Then saith the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they walk in my law or no. So at this point, I want you to pay very, very close attention to detail. The Most High told Moses for them to gather a certain amount every day. Okay? The Most High is proving if they are walking in his law, if they are going to walk in his laws, statutes, and commandments, one of them being the Sabbath. You're going to see. Let's keep going. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day, they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. So there's going to be an amount. We're going to read it, that they gather every day. But on the 6th day, in preparation for that next day, but on that 6th day, they should prepare that which they bring in. And on that 6th day, in the preparation, it should be twice as much as they would normally gather on the 1st through the 5th day. Again, pay very, very close attention to detail, because before every Sabbath, you are to prepare. You are to prepare before heading into the Sabbath, and we're going to get into it. So let me keep going. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even, then ye shall know the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning then ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for that he heareth your murmurings against the Lord. So the Most High hear them saying, we're being led to starvation, to death by starvation in the wilderness by this man who says you sent us to lead us to the land you promised our father. They murmuring that to the point the Most High hears, right? And what are we that ye murmur against us? And Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings, which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. So I'm glad that Moses said this. A lot of times people have a problem with even that which are in my lessons. But I'm always reading straight from the Bible. And then there be scoffers. And when they're scoffers, understand, scoffers, you're not mad at me. I'm reading the words of the Most High. Who you have a problem with is the Most High. Moses distinctly tells even Israel that exact point. Oh, you're not mad at me. Your murmurings and the things you're murmuring about has absolutely nothing to do with me, but everything to do with the Most High. So who you are murmuring against is the Most High himself. Verse 9, and Moses spake unto old Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmuring. And it came to pass, as Aaron spoke unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at evening, the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. Now, I want to tell you, it's wintertime. But I'm going to let the scriptures show that to you. Verse 14, and when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, the face of the wilderness, they lay a small round thing, as small as the hoar frost on the ground. And frost on the ground, it's wintertime. But what is that small round thing? I'm asking you now, Israel, if you know what this small round thing is, type it in the chat. We're going to talk about this small round thing a little later. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna. For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. Now, I want to stop right there because we read earlier where the Most High said he wants them to get this thing right here at a certain rate every day. But for the first 5 days, it's going to be the same amount. But on that sixth day, it's going to be more. And I said it's going to be a certain rate. Now, you see this word omer, right? Let's see what that word means. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to share it again. This time we're going to look at the definition of omer. Omer, an ancient Hebrew unit of dry capacity equal to 1/10 of an ephah. All right, that's what one omer is. All right, but let's see what an ephah is. And it is a Hebrew unit of dry measure equal to about a bushel or 35 liters. So an omer is equal to a bushel. Well, an omer is equal to 1/10 of a bushel, and a bushel is about 35 liters. So an omer is about 3.5 liters or 1/10 of a bushel. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to the Bible. We're going to read this again. Verse 16, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating an omer, or 1/10 of a bushel, for every man according to the number of persons. So if there is 5 people in your tent, then you will get 1/10 of a bushel for each person, right? It's basic, real simple. All right. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered, some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. So it was just enough. It was perfect. Perfect amount. Right? Verse 19, and Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. So, from days 1 through 5, he said, don't let this stay until the next day. And I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove it. From days 1 through 5, he said, don't let it go to the next day. And some of them did. And the ones that did, it bred worms and stank. It went bad. And Moses was wroth with them. He was like, why? I specifically said on days 1 through 5, don't let it last until the next day. Okay. So he's breaking an old habit. Breaking an old habit. And getting them to walk in the way of the Most High. Bringing them into the truth. Okay. Let's keep going. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. I'm going to ask again, what was this round thing? If it melted when the sun shined, it was wintertime. Giving y'all all the hints you need, because we're going to address what this was that our forefathers called manna. Verse 22, and it came to pass that on the 6th day, so every day, 1 through 5, they got exactly 1 omer for every person in the tent. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. So now we went from 1/10 of a bushel per man to 1/5 of a bushel, which is 2/10, to 1/5 of a bushel per man, per person in the tent. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses, and he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath. Wait a minute, because they ain't got no calendar. But 5 days came. They got 1 omer. The 6th day, they got 2 omers per man, per each person in the tent, be it man, woman, or child. And on the 6th day, they got 2 omers per person. And then Moses said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye bake today, and see that ye will see, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to keep until the morning. Now here we see what a little difference from the days 1 through 5. Days 1 through 5, he said, don't let it go over to the morning. But on day 6, the day they picked double as much of this manna up, he said, get it, bake it, that there remains, it is to remain to the next day, because the next day is the Sabbath. The 7th day was the Sabbath unto the Lord. Let's keep going. And they laid it up until the morning, and as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither were there any worms therein. Again, Moses is getting them in the righteousness. Them first days 1 through 5, they weren't supposed to let it stay over. Some of them did, and it stank, and it wrecked worms. He said, but on this 6th day, y'all get double the amount in preparation, just like we read a little earlier about preparation on the 6th day. For the next day, which will be the Sabbath unto our Lord, the Most High God. And that you don't eat, lay it over until the morning. And they did. However, it didn't stink, and neither was there any worms therein. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto the Lord. So the 7th day has arrived. And Moses saying, eat that. He didn't say go cook some more. He said, eat that which you laid over from yesterday to today. Today you shall not find it in the field. So the Most High didn't let this manna fall. Another clue to the ground from the heavens, as it said earlier, on the 7th day, also the Sabbath day, even in the wilderness for you. Verse 26, 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. Meaning there will not be any of this manna to fall on the 7th day. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for together. So we got some Israelites, they just goddamn can't get. Moses then told them it's not going to be there. But on the seventh day, they go out anyway to gather. And they found none. Now, again, you got to remember the Most High said he's finna start proving who's going to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments. Here go. And if we would put a number on it, it's about 2/3. Go out there anyway. On the seventh day. And found none. Let's keep going. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? Now, this is the Most High now. He's starting to question his chosen people. After, and we saw this, he reminded them not to do the ordinances of these heathens. They're out of Egypt, yet they still not doing his law. All right, so let's keep going. See for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days, which is why they were able to get double the amount on the 6th day, heading into the Sabbath, to prepare heading into the Sabbath. Abide ye every man in his place, let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So now Moses saying, all right, I told y'all the rules. Now we finna be real strict with the rules, with the laws, statutes, and commandments. Verse 30. So the people rested on 7th day. They are coming back into righteousness. But let's read verse 31, because I see we're going to see what this manna is. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like a corridor seed, white. And the taste of it was like wafers made from honey. What is white that falls in the wintertime? That was the bread of Israel in the wilderness. So we see about keeping the Sabbath from our forefathers. We see where they was having to get out of serving man to serve the Most High and follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, even up to and including the Sabbath, right? So now I want to address this because this has been asked of me several times. You notice how Moses said, I'm finna have to get strict on y'all about this Sabbath. For the Most High do something to all of us, because he's telling me to tell y'all. So this strictness, what is it? What is this more defined things about the Sabbath? Now we're finna get into that now. So let's go to Exodus 20. I'm gonna stay in Exodus, but we're gonna go to chapter 20, and we're gonna get verses 8 through 11. And they read, remember the Sabbath day, Israel. This is just straight to you, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. I'm going to say again, I will go as far as say the 7th day of the week. You're going to get why I keep saying that. It's not written that way in the scripture, but we're going to get why I keep saying that. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days, we read about this stuff in Genesis. In 6 days, the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So we see here, no work. No work. No buying or selling. No buying or selling. Let's go to Exodus 35 and 3. We're going to go to 35 and 3. Exodus 35 and 3, because there's something else you're not supposed to do. And it was proven back in Exodus 16, 1 through 31. But I got to get this. Exodus 35 and 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. No working, no spending or buying, no selling or buying. Yeah. Because if you sell and you sell to a person of Israelite descent, you put them at the point of sinning or transgressing the law. If you sell to another Israelite on the Sabbath, you put them in error. But you are in error as well. You get held accountable for your part of the error, just as the other Israelites. So, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. No cooking. No cooking, which is why back in Exodus 16 and 1 through 31, on the 6th day, they picked double the amount to prepare for the Sabbath day, as they couldn't prepare it on the Sabbath day. It had to already be prepared. Again, just as you, on the 6th day, prior to the 7th day, or the Sabbath, you are to prepare prior to sundown, as we also read in Genesis, from the eve to the morning is a day. So from sundown to sundown. From sundown on the 6th day to sundown on the 7th day. You can't do any of those things. I didn't say it. The Bible says. If you have a problem, as Moses so eloquently told Israel way back then, your problem not with me. Your problem with the Most High. All right. So, I want to look at an incident where somebody decided they was going to do something anyway. They going to cook anyway. We're going to look at an account. And we're going to look at the repercussions back when our forefathers, because now they back in righteousness. When Moses did, when the Most High used Moses to institute Israel getting back into righteousness, from that point on, they was getting back in righteousness, right? They was living by the law, statutes, and commandments. I want to go to Numbers 15. We're going to look at an account where an Israelite decided on the Sabbath he was going to cook. We're going to see what happened. Numbers 15, verse 32. We're going to get 32 through 36. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. Now, we read back in Exodus 16 where I said he started getting a little more, putting the reins tight. Moses said, look, from now on the Sabbath, you just rest in your tents. We read the very next verse. So on the Sabbath, all of Israel rested in their tents. But here we got this dude, you know, Israel has always been a rebellious, stiff-necked people. None of this is new. Sottish. These are words to describe our nation. The greater majority of our nation. 2/3 of our nation. So we got somebody that came out of his tent, because they in the wilderness, gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. On the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering the sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward, meaning they bound him. They made him stay in one place. Because it was not declared what should be done to him for transgressing the law. Willingly transgressing the law. But as we saw back in Exodus, they clearly understood that on the Sabbath day they are to stay in their tents and rest. It didn't say all but this one dude. It didn't say none of that. But lo and behold, there is a one dude that goes and does this. So they bound him because it was not declared what should be done to him. And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. Verse 36. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died as the Lord commanded Moses. There are some repercussions for people that don't keep the Sabbath. There are repercussions for people who think in secret that they're telling people they're keeping the Sabbath, but they're not keeping the Sabbath. How do you keep the Sabbath? Just went over it in Exodus 28 through 11 and Exodus 35 and 3. You do not work. You do not buy or sell. You do not cook. There's some people that try to get away with it anyway. They do it anyway. Right? But to the next person, they're keeping it like they supposed to. Understand the Most High knows your most secret things. See, that you can keep away from man, including myself. It can't be kept from the Most High. That's just point blank period. Cannot be kept from him. So now, I kept saying 7 days, and I would even go as far as to say 7 days in a week, right? I was saying it, right? So let me stop sharing my screen real fast. So I'm going to share something else with you. All right. So let me share it now. I got it pulled up. And what we're going to look at is what's known as the Feast of Weeks, right? Feast of Weeks. Anybody know what the Feast of Weeks is? Just out of sheer curiosity. It's in Leviticus 23, actually, when the Most High is proclaiming the feast days, his high holy days, feast days. I'm going to let y'all think about this. Some of y'all might know. Type it in the chat. While that's happening, I'm going to read this. And thou shalt keep the Feast of Weeks unto the Lord thy God with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according to the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. The Feast of Weeks, for those who don't know, is the Feast of First Fruits or Pentecost. Okay? One of the only feast days kept by weeks. So what I want to do, though, is I want to go and see this word, weeks. For those who don't know what this is, the Blue Letter Bible, breakdown. It breaks down the actual translation of that which you know today as the Bible. I'm going to let my computer say this word. You can see right here, it's called Shabuah. I'm going to see if y'all can hear this.
Psalms age 7620. Shavuah.
Shabuah. Shabuah. Notice Shabuah and think about the word Shabbat. Just the enunciation. All right. But let's see what Shabuah means. 7 period of 7 days or years. Heptad, week. A period of 7 days, a week. This is talking about the Feast of Weeks. But you see here, a period of 7 days, a week. 6 days out of the week, you should do your work. But on the 7th day of the week, that's why I kept saying, I'll even go as far as say the 7th day of the week. It is the Sabbath. So, going back to the beginning, I said, it doesn't matter what the world calls these days of the week. On the 7th day of each week is the Sabbath. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that this will be just as simple as when I started this lesson now. This is how simple it is. So I'm sharing my screen. What you're looking at right here is the first day of the week in different countries. Different countries. And as you can see, in different places, the first day of the week is a different day. Remember, I told you it doesn't matter what the world calls that first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh day. Understand this. On the 7th day, first, on the 6th day, you are to prepare for the 7th day. And on the 7th day of the week, every week is the Sabbath. Most High doesn't change. The Most High cares not that the first day of the week in Afghanistan is Saturday. So if you're an Israelite and you're in Afghanistan, He doesn't care that they call the first day of the week Saturday. What he cares about is that you observe the Sabbath on Friday, because Friday is the seventh day of that week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this list, but not as you see. I'm going to go through, I'm trying to make it so simple for my people, because Israel, we are spread out everywhere. And if you just so happen to be in one of these places, I'm literally going to tell you the day, which is the seventh day of the week, which should be the Shabbat, or the Shabbat, the Shabbat. For you, I'm going to do it that, I'm going to make it that simple for you. So I'm going to start off by saying, if the place you reside recognizes Sunday, kind of like, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to let y'all see it, kind of like Babylon or the United States. See, Sunday is recognized as the first day of the week. Babylon don't give a care that Uruguay recognizes Monday as the first day of the week. The Most High don't give a care that either Babylon or United States sees the first day of the week as Sunday, or that Uruguay sees the first day of the week as Monday. Most High does not care. If you are an Israelite in the following places see Sunday as the first day of the week. If you are in one of these places, understand that from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, you are to observe the Sabbath. Okay? Those places are Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Hong Kong, Israel, Jamaica, Japan, Kenya, Morocco, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, South Africa, South Korea, Taiwan, the United States, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. All those places recognize Sunday as the first day of the week. If Sunday is the first day of the week, as they recognize it, then the seventh day is Sunday. So if any of those places, if you are an Israelite in the truth, if you stay in any of those places that I just called out, from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday, is, as my beloved brothers that do the lunar eclipse, as they say, it is your weekly Sabbath. We just saw about the weeks, and a week is 7 days. So I agree with them. It's a weekly Sabbath. It is the weekly Sabbath that the Most High ordained as a holy convocation. I don't term it a weekly Sabbath, but that is a correct description of it. However, it is the Sabbath. It happens every week, which is 7 days. It happens from sundown of the 6th day to sundown of the 7th day. So if you reside in any of those places that recognize Sunday as the first day of the week, then sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. Now we're going to go to a different list of countries. I promise you, I'm trying to make this so simple for my nation. For the Most High's nation, it is this simple. In places that recognize Saturday as the first day of the week, that would make Friday the 7th day. So from sundown Thursday to sundown Friday will be the Sabbath. for the following places: Afghanistan, Algeria, Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Libya, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. If you are an Israelite, whether you're new in this truth or you've been in this truth, if you reside in any of those places which recognize Saturday as the first day of the week, then understand this: the seventh day of that week is Friday. From sundown Thursday to sundown Friday is the Sabbath for you. We got to go now and address the places, and you can see all these places right here in this little graph that they have here for you. I have the link to this in the description. Places that recognize Monday as the first day of the week. If you reside in one of these places, they say that Monday's the first day of the week, which will make Sunday the seventh day. All right? Which will mean Saturday sundown to Sunday sundown. Again, the Most High doesn't care what the world calls these days. What the Most High cares about is that you understand, regardless of what they call these days, on the seventh one, it's the Sabbath. On the sixth one, you are to prepare before sundown for the seventh one. Because until sundown of the seventh day, it is the Sabbath. So, for those in the following areas: Albania, Andorra, Armenia, Australia, Austria, Azerbaijan, Belarus, who's been in the news a lot lately in regards to Gog and the possibility of Gog and Magog. Belarus, Belgium, Brunei, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, French Guiana, Georgia, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lebanon, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Macedonia, Malaysia, Monaco, Mongolia, Morocco, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Pakistan, Paraguay, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Russia, another, been in the news a lot lately, Russia, Serbia, Singapore, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. If you are an Israelite, you reside in any of those places, they regard Monday as the first day of the week. Understand that the Sabbath for you is from sundown Saturday to sundown Sunday. It is that simple. I literally just told you. First, with the understanding that I know there can very well be Israelites spread into any of these countries. I literally just told you, one, when the Sabbath is for you. Two, how to keep it. And I didn't do it. The Bible did it. I just tried to make it as simply as possible as I could. Not saying that the Bible didn't. I feel like it did. However, obviously in Israel, It's not that simple. But I'm telling you, Israel, it is. So, I'm hoping, Israel, that this sheds some light on the Sabbath, regardless of where you reside. Paul, let's just take Paul. Paul stayed in Romania. Paul also, and I talked about this in another Truth Thought, also exclaimed, that's the word, exclaimed, I am an Israelite, because he is an Israelite. It don't matter if Romania said that. Let's just say Romania said that Tuesday was the first day of the week. What Paul understood was, well, that means that Monday is the Sabbath. So from sundown Sunday to sundown Monday is the Sabbath. It does not matter what any region of the earth says is their first day. Understand, Israel, the Sabbath day of that week is the Sabbath. From sundown of the sixth day to sundown of the seventh. It's that simple. I want to reach out again, and I hope that is understood by everyone that sees this, because it's just that simple. I want to reach out to you again, Israel. The link is in the description. If the Most High have you in a position where you can be charitable, I ask of your charitability towards our Queen, our beloved sister, Queen Valerie. Again, if anyone in the nation of Israel knows of or knows any information leading to the whereabouts of Princess Joniah, in the description, you will see contact information to relay such information. Princess Joniah, if this truth or thought should come before you, I implore you, please contact your family. Israel, with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. With that, Israel, it's your brother Marcus G. Be it the Most High will. Until next time, I bid you shalom. I love you.